Episode 59 of This and That and What the Fuck Else. In this one I'll be talking about the pestilence. There's some yucky shit coming out from that. More on the energy problems of Europe. And there's some gender shit. And then there is some more movement in my favorite global revolution. Start off with this one. We warned you. And then there's a newspaper clipping. Pestilence shots alter your DNA. Well, are we surprised? I'm not. Then this. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has just kicked the door in and opened a can of worms for every government in the world. Once again, the truth prevails. No media is talking about this. Neither here in Australia nor in Europe or the USA. It's up to us to spread the word. And then you must pause the video and read that Supreme Court ruling, because it's too dangerous for me to read that thing. And then we have this. Many embalmers across the world are reporting massive clots, never seen before, appearing in young people with sudden death. CDC, FDA, NHS, Kaiser, all agencies should be studying these to see if related to this pestilence. Why are we not rushing to find answers? And then look at those images. I mean, that is scary shit that they are pulling out of people's veins. And then this one should actually make you smile. The new study shows an alarming link between being a conspiracy theorist and not having myocarditis. And how is that? And then there's this one from the Donbass. Putin has instructed the Russian Deputy Prime Minister Marat Kushnulin to ensure that Donbass residents don't freeze in the cold and get decent housing as soon as possible. Let's see if they can do it. From what I've seen in Mariupol, they are really putting an effort in. And then we get to the energy issues. And there is so much bullshit being spread by that European leadership. But here are some facts. Full gas storage not enough for the EU to last through the winter. According to Aurora Energy Research calculations, the block storages can only provide enough gas for up to 90 days of average demand. Russian wisdom. A long, hot, dry summer brings a long, cold, white winter. I'm still baffled. I cannot understand. How is it possible that the leadership in Europe is doing this to their people? Norwegian farmers are being forced to throw away their harvest because they cannot afford the electricity prices to store the food. Now, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but if you look at all the crazy things happening of food plants burning down and processing facilities burning down and storage facilities burning down and the herds of cattle that suddenly die and flocks of chicken that die, maybe this is part of the plan. The United States has emerged as a major beneficiary of the European energy crisis due to new opportunities for US companies in the liquefied natural gas market. This is what we expect. You know, I've said it a few times, the USA doesn't want to see a successful Europe, because a successful Europe is competition for the USA. Just sit back and listen and look at what has been happening in these past months. Almost every major shit block that hits the EU, in some way or other, the US benefits from it. And then this one also can make you smile. The 100-year-old tissue paper factory in Düsseldorf has closed. A similar fate awaits other enterprises in the paper industry in Germany. Due to the anti-Russian sanctions, Germans may face a shortage of toilet paper, reports Bloomberg. You can advise them to use newspapers with photos of Schultz on it. Yeah, they can try newspapers. The sad part is they fuck their farmers up, so they are not, we call it in Afrikaans miliestronke. that is after you've taken that, that is left once you've taken the maize pips off. And in the old days that was used by us. So, for the Europeans, they will have to revert to carrying a rock with. And then there's this. And now the racists won't like it. And the IQ 70s is not going to like it. But this is the facts. A bridge in Ethiopia built by Europeans centuries ago. Africans never rebuilt the bridge, so they cross it via ropes. And for fuck's sake, my question is, why haven't they not rebuilt the thing? They can see how it's done. But that's their culture. They don't build, they just fuck up. And then we get to the gender shit. And this is Tulsi Gabbard, and she's talking to this girl and say, thank you for having the courage to speak up on this important issue. I and many others were tomboys growing up too. Adults can do what they want, but hormone-altering drugs and surgeries are irreversible and should never be allowed on children. And that was in response to this message from Brittany Aldean. I'd really like to thank my parents for not changing my gender when I went through my tomboy phase. I love this girly life. Yes, what can I say? This is also out of hand and out of control. And this is just a little bit of a note that we just take note. I couldn't find more on it and why and the reason. The Vatican has issued an order to all dioceses in the world to withdraw all cash and send it to the Vatican Bank by the end of September. Something is going down. I don't know. If you know, put it in the comments for me, please. There's something that doesn't sound kosher to me. And more on the global revolution. The Bank of Russia and the Finance Ministry could legalize crypto. Russia's Deputy Finance Chief Alexei Moiseev has told the media the country is rethinking its stance on the role of cryptocurrencies, as the digital market may help facilitate cross-border trade. And that will be excellent. And for those that do not understand, the cryptocurrencies that he is talking about here, it's got nothing to do with the centralized digital currency that the World Economic Forum is talking about. This is the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin and Ethereum as we know it. Those things are not centralized and it is not controllable by anyone. The roles of states of the world who are dynamic and full of potential has substantially increased, particularly in the Asian South Pacific region. BRICS Plus role grows in new multipolar world. And then there's a lot of things, but that second point, South Africa's National Assembly Speaker calls for a collective solution from BRICS to mitigate the global food, fuel and financial crisis. Yeah, this is for me another brick in that wall. And then there is this. The Netherlands Agricultural Minister Henk Staghouwer has been forced to resign after massive protests against his radical climate change policies. Citizens reminding the government that the people will decide. Dutch farmers topple agriculture minister leading a radical climate agenda. That is all good and well, and I spoke about this in the live stream. They may have toppled him now, but who the fuck is going to replace him? And then there's some scientific facts. Scientists use stem cells to create synthetic embryos with brains and beating hearts. Synthetic model embryos with brains and beating hearts have been developed at the University of Cambridge using stem cells from mice instead of eggs or sperm. This has been a dream of our community for years and a major focus of our work for decades. And finally we've done it. Although the research was done on mouse models, the researchers are developing human models in order to observe previously inaccessible processes inside human embryos. Now this may sound Frankenstein scary shit, but still, just for a moment think about it. It's actually amazing what they're doing. And here's another science snippet. Zombie cells may hold the key to active old age. Scientists are looking into how to prevent the effect of senescent cells, aging cells that harm healthier ones around it, that can lead to dementia, cardiovascular disease and osteoporosis. The potential to intervene in the fundamental biology of aging is truly a great opportunity we've had, maybe in history, to transform human health. Drugs that specifically target these zombie cells can stop dividing and could hold the key to longer, healthier life, with Japanese scientists already testing a vaccine on mice that appears to be effective. How's that? Get a shot and don't age. That sounds like a plan for me. And then we're in the US. China's US ultimatum: ditch Pelosi's negative influence or forget climate talks. Beijing has insisted that the US must rid itself of the negative influence created by Nancy Pelosi's controversial visit to Taiwan before bilateral climate talks will resume. That's a little bit tit for tat, I think. As things currently stand, the US is not prepared to fight and win a war with China over Taiwan. If China were to invade Taiwan today, there is little the US military could do. China continues to believe that there is a non-violent solution to the one China problem. That was said by Scott Ritter. But it's a pity. Those neocons, warmongers sitting there in this shithouse in Washington, they don't listen. And then we have this little mophead. She never ceases to amaze me. Karine Jean-Pierre says that people who voted for Donald Trump are a threat to our democracy, to our freedom, to our rights. Guys, I don't know what the fuck is going on in the US, but things are not lekker there. And then there's this guy. Are you fucking just kidding me? Stupid fucks. White House seeks $13.7 billion more as emergency package for the Ukraine. I can just shake my head. The American taxpayers, I feel sorry for them. Now we're with that Klaus Schwaap cretins. The WEF is an unaccountable body of global elites lobbying for a global agenda. That's a basic fact, which raises the question, all this talk of building back better, we have to ask, build back better for whom? And I looked at the video that is applicable here. I'm scary shit. And then this. Transgenderism, BLM, migrant crisis, climate change, etc. All great reset ideologies to building back better, to push Agenda 2030, were already there. The pestilence only accelerated it. Even 201, Google it, was a rehearsal, and it put all dots on I in a grand scheme of things. Well, if the normal people of this world don't wake up and say stop, we are in deep shit. UK, it doesn't matter which WEF candidate wins this election. The steady march towards net zero and the delivery of Agenda 30 will progress regardless. This is not democracy. This is the collapse of everything you thought was normal. This is the new normal they promised. Guys, we are in trouble. Doesn't make much sense, does it? Homeless go without eating, elderly go without needed medicines, mentally ill go without treatment, troops go without proper equipment, veterans go without benefits that were promised, yet we donate billions to other countries before helping our own first. 1%, he said 1% will repost, and 99%, well, I'm using it in my Skidmark, so you must be happy. But we have to look at that shit. The Americans must look at that shit and think. And then you've got this. At least 4 billion useless eaters shall be eliminated by the year 2050 by means of limited wars, organized epidemics of fatal rapid-acting diseases and starvation. Energy, food and water shall be kept at subsistence levels for the non-elite, starting with the white populations of Western Europe and North America, and then spreading to other races. the population of Canada, Western Europe and the United States will be decimated more rapidly than on other continents, until the world's population reaches a manageable level of 1 billion, of which 500 million will consist of Chinese and Japanese races selected because they are people who have been regimented for centuries and who are accustomed to obeying authority without question. Guys, this is scary shit. And then we've got this. Here from a 1981 book by Bilderberger, Jacques Attali is an example of the elite's mindset. The future will be about finding a way to reduce the population. Of course, we will not be able to execute people or build camps. We get rid of them by making them believe it's for their own good. We will find a cause, something, targeting certain people, a real economic crisis or not, a virus affecting the old or the elderly, it doesn't matter. The weak and the fearful will succumb to it. The stupid will believe in it and ask to be treated. We will have taken care of having panned the treatment, a treatment that will be the solution. The selection of idiots will therefore be done by itself. They will go to the slaughterhouse alone. And that was written in 1981. We are sleepwalking into shitville. It is a lot easier to control a handful of global corporations rather than millions of small independent businesses, farmers, traders and service providers. Too many people can easily get everything they need from Amazon without taking their faces out of their smartphones. That is the truth, and you could see what happened during the pestilence. The small businesses were locked down, but the corporate operations, they operated. And then we get to that, what a fuck. Now this one, a South African will understand what I'm going to say about this shit. Vegans block access for customers wanting milk in 4 UK cities. Now can you just imagine on a Friday afternoon they tried that shit at a local butchery and you can't get to the boerewors and the steak and chops for the weekend's braai. How many of those vegans will survive the wrath of the boere that wants meat to braai for the weekend? I don't think many of them will get out of that shop without stretchers, wheelchairs and other assistance. Can you imagine that? These people are fucking crazy and they're a small minority, and now look how they want to impose their view onto the masses. I say fuck them. And on that note, please hit the like and the subscribe and share the thing, and thank you for your support.